Guys, let me show you Hiroshima before the bombing and after the bombing. So this is Hiroshima before the bombing. Let's look at the city. This is what the city looked like before the bombing. You can see how beautiful, organized, happy. This is Hiroshima before the bombing. Look, guys. Hiroshima before the bombing, everywhere. You can see people, athletes doing their thing, school children going to school. Then 1945, 6th August. On the 6th of August 1945 at around 8:15 a.m. 8:15 a.m. this happened. Guys, this happened. This happened. Guys, look. The whole city. The whole city. The whole city went down. The whole city went down. Guys, look. Everywhere. School children, babies in the hospital, nursing mothers. Think about it. Everybody went down. Guys, look at the dome. Look at the dome that I showed you people. The dome I made the video in front. Look at the city. Everybody went down. Nothing was spared. This is Hiroshima. When the atomic bomb was detonated. You saw the before. This is the after. This is the city of Hiroshima. Guys, this is just small compared to what I'll show you. I'll show you things in this museum. I'm inside the Hiroshima Memorial Museum now, where they display things from after the war. I'm going to show you things. Guys, you will cry. Just hold your handkerchiefs. Guys, this video I'm about to show you now, if you don't have mine, don't watch it because you're going to cry. This is a video representation of what happened in 1945 in Hiroshima, Japan, when the bomb was detonated. I'm in the museum now, the Hiroshima Memorial Museum, and let's watch this atomic bomb detonation together. Now, this was the city before the bomb. You can see the whole city before the bomb. You can see everywhere people going to work. You can see cars everywhere. It was normal. Just watch. Watch, guys. Watch. Just watch, guys. Look. Guys, watch. This is the whole city. Look at the bomb. Did you see the bomb? Did you see? Look at the atomic bomb. Look at the nuclear weapon. Guys, look. Look how it dropped. It covered everywhere. The whole city was covered. The whole city. Look, guys. Look, guys. Look at the flames. Guys, look at the flames. Can you believe this? Human beings were there. Humans, babies, pregnant women, children, school children. Guys, look. The whole city. The whole city burned to ashes, guys. Guys, look. Over 140 people died by the end of 1945. 140 people died instantly, guys. Look at this. Look. Guys, what you just saw there was a graphic representation of what happened in 1945 in Japan. And yes, it happened for real. This was the city after. Look at the ruins. So the whole city was razed down. But now, watch my videos. Watch all the videos I've made in Hiroshima and see how they rebuilt Hiroshima from the scratch. Hiroshima has now become a mega city, one of the most beautiful cities in Japan after the war, just 80 years after. And everything, you would never recognize that this was the place that the atomic bomb was detonated.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 11. It reads, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. The point. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Your brother Kahan from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Campaign Trinidad with another edification through the power and spirit of Yahweh Bahashim. First and foremost, Kal Halayam La Alahaya Nawa Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakaha Kodash Barakata Yahweh Barakata Yahweh Shai Barakata Yahweh Barakata Yahweh Shai Barakata Yahweh Barakata Yahweh Shai. Double honors unto the apostles, the bishops, the elders, a great millstone that rule well. Salutation unto the brothers who preach and teach the truth throughout the four corners of the earth, risking their lives and the freedom to do so now more than ever. Shalom unto the speckled bird Israelites, and shalom unto the very few but faithful Akwat, which is the sisters that listening and learning. What America had done unto Hiroshima, they would receive 200 million times way worse. Way worse by their enemies. Yeah? What America had done unto Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they will receive 200 million times more worse upon them. Alright? So as you could see those two clips there, the first clip, alright, with that female, that Jake female, who had went on a trip to Hiroshima, you know, she showed the before and after, alright, the beauty of the city and what have you, so forth, you know, the architecture and all of that, alright, before, and then the after. The after was what? When the bomb dropped, alright, the atomic bomb. Also the second clip was what? The second clip was you know, when the yeah, you know, so the second clip was concerning, you know, they're showing you a visual, you know, of, you know, the dropping of the bomb and the detonation and whatnot, so forth, you know, showing you a visual of it and what have you, so forth, you know. And the devastation, if you can see, you know, and we all know, those who really know, alright, the devastation was great. Yeah, the devastation, it was great. Alright, and little does America know that was just a precursor, alright, a precursor pursuant to their destruction and how great it's going to be. And it's going to be 200 million times more greater than that. That what Hiroshima and Nagasaki had received and endured back in 1945. Alright, back then in 1945. Alright, which had brought the conclusion to that Second World War. Yeah? The scriptures, throughout the scriptures, you know, it describes, it gives grave destruction, you know, it describes grave destruction that is about to take place upon America. You know, like when we go to Isaiah Isaiah chapter 13. And I want to get at the point, so let me think from 1. I will start from 1. I would have to start from 1. Alright, Isaiah chapter 13 and 1. It reads, the burden of Babylon which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them. Alright, shake the hand, that he may go into the what? Into the gates of the nobles. Who is the nobles? The elites. Alright, I have commanded my sanctified ones, which is the prophets, and I have also called my mighty ones, which is the angels, for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of a multitude on the mountains, like also of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Alright, the kingdom of nations gathered together. And this is what you're seeing taking place right now. The Lord Yahweh is mustering the hosts of the battle. Alright? Things is as how we just say, the bread is in the oven. Alright, the bread is in the oven, but it just that, you know, it's baking. It hasn't fully well been cooked. Alright? But the bread is in the oven, pursuant to the war drums, pursuant to the rumors of war, the wars and the rumors of wars. Alright? The rhetorics that is being spoken. Alright? The skirmishes, the tit for tat. All these things is being played out, alright, before our very eyes, which in the very near future is going to come to a drastic escalation, where it's going to break out into a conventional war, militaries against militaries, all right, uniform against uniform, and what have you, so forth, along with these militant groups and what have you, so forth, all right, which in turn afterwards is going to evolve into an all-out thermal nuclear warfare battle, all right, which according to scripture, America is going to be on the losing end. All right, America, which is Babylon the Great, is going to be on the losing end. All right, so these nations is gathering up together. They are gathering their weaponry and what have you, so forth. You understand? They are making their pacts. All right, their deals and all these things. Yeah. For when the time is ripe and ready, it will be executed. Alright, it will be carried out. So as it says, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together, the Lord of hosts mustering the hosts of the battle. They come from a far country, which is where? Russia, mainly Russia. Alright? Russia and the likes of Iran and China, North Korea, all right, and its allies, along with these militant groups, all right, from the end of heaven, even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. And what is the weapons of the Lord indignation? All right, what is the weapon of the Lord indignation? Isaiah, I can go to that scripture in a little bit. I think it's 54 and 16. Yep. Isaiah 54 and 16, where it reads, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. I have created the waster to destroy. Alright, so what is that? Alright? What is this? Who is the smith? What is the smith? The smith is those scientists. Alright? The coals is what? The coals is the uranium and the plutonium and all these things, you know. all the ingredients and mechanisms and whatnot so forth that is needed to assemble a nuclear missile, alright, a thermonuclear missile, a ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile. You understand? This is what it is here, right? To bring it forward, the instrument of his work. Whose work? The work of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Alright? This is what it is here. And when it happens, when it do happens, pursuant to World War III, because these nations, they have their stockpile and they've been stockpiling, alright, and they're going to continue to stockpile. They're going to continue to stockpile because it is for a purpose, and that purpose is going back to that same Isaiah 13 and verse 5. Isaiah 13 and 5, where it reads, "They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord, and the weapons of his indignation, to destroy the whole land of America. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore all hands shall faint, and every man's heart shall melt." You understand? There is what it is. There is what it is. When they jump all the way down to verse verse 17, where it reads, "Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them," which is the Russians, "which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it." Alright, they don't care about the sanctions and all these things. Your economical stranglehold you're putting upon them, these Russia, China, North Korea, and what have you, so forth. They don't care. Right now, they don't care. Right now, they are just patiently waiting. Is a game of patience that is being played right now. Yeah? Their bows shall dash the young men. Those bows are what? Those bows are what? The warheads. Alright, the missiles and the warheads that is attached to the missiles. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. The same way how they didn't have, as the lady said. Woo! Wow! 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 As the lady said, when this thing dropped in Hiroshima, you know, it cleared away everything. It cleared away down to hospitals with nurses and mothers nursing their young ones. Yeah? Mothers in the hospital giving birth, and who already given birth, and you know, nursing their young ones, waiting to be discharged and what have you, so forth, from the hospital. But they were all what? They had all perished. They had all perished. Alright? The drop of that one bomb, it left nothing in existence. Everything was brought to stubble. Every single thing was flattened. There wasn't really any buildings or anything like that standing. Alright? Shadows was, how you could say, shadows was plastered on wall, because the heat of that was so immense. Alright? That it literally, the shadows of people literally stayed on walls, whatever remained on the floor and what have you, so on the ground and whatever have you, you know. Just imagine that. I just show you how much heat that was. Yeah? So I just, hey, what the scripture say in Galatians, let me see, I will come back to this. Let me see if I can get that. Galatians, I think it's Galatians 6 and 7. Yeah, Galatians 6 and 7. Be not deceived. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. You understand? Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So the same way how when you had dropped that atomic bomb, alright, and over 140,000 people perish instantly, you know, and who died within the aftermath due to radiation poisoning and all these things, is the same that is going to be done unto America. Alright? Is the same that is going to be done unto America. So going back to the Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 17, actually verse 18, alright, Isaiah 13 and 18, their bows also shall dash the young men, alright, to pieces. They shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. They shall not spare children. Alright? So the same way how they, you know, the maternity wards in these hospitals over there in Hiroshima and what have you so forth was you know occupied, you know, being, you know, women being warded, yeah, with the young ones and whatnot so forth. Is the same thing. Is the same thing that is going to be taking place in Babylon the Great. Yeah? Is the same thing. And the Russians and the Chinese and what have you so forth, the North Koreans especially, they ain't going to care one bit of the young women and their children and whosoever may be sick and warded in the hospital, and young children, you know, and what have you so forth. Alright? No. Alright? Because this is the judgment of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua that is about to bring upon Babylon the Great. You understand? And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, yeah? Which is America, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldeans, excellency shall be as when the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua overthrows Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah, yeah? It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Salakia, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, and neither shall their shepherds make their fold there. You understand? Hey, Hiroshima has managed to build back. Alright, and reconstruct and, you know, put themselves back together again, and what have you so forth. But that is going to be the opposite with America. America ain't going to be rebuilt. America is not going to catch back. She's not going to be rebuilt. America is going to be left as a memorial, a burning memorial. Alright, a burning, after a burning, a desert land, total desert land, memorial, as a memorial, pursuant to the judgment of the Most High, for all the wickedness and the abominations and the murders and the rape and robbery, the thievery that she have done ever since her existence. This is what it is. Watching that clip there, you know what came to my mind? Because when I saw that clip there, you know, and I decided to save that clip in order to do edification, you know, and what have you so forth, I tell myself, a scripture come to my mind, and that scripture is this here. Because it's the same thing. It's the same thing when I really check it out and you know, as Apostle Gabada say, you know, when you're reading the scriptures and you're doing your videos and whatnot, so forth, you just how to envision it. Alright? And when you read the scripture here, it reminds of the clip of of and that's why, as I said in the beginning, is a precursor. What was done to Hiroshima and Nagasaki was actually a precursor to America's own demise, America's own destruction. All right, and as I was saying, when you look at that clip and you read Joel 2, all right, and what have you so forth, is actually what is going to take place with America, because Joel 2 explains, what you're going to get into. Joel 2 explains, how the land was and how the land is going to be, how the land was actually, prior to those ICBMs landing on America, and what it's going to look like after it lands. So let's get into it. This is Joel chapter 2. It reads, Joel chapter 2 and 1, blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. That land is where? America. A day of darkness and a day of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness. Alright? Which goes into what? The nuclear fallout. Alright? The radiation. Alright? As the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, they have not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolation, a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. And this is the thing. The session, she showed pictures of Hiroshima before, and then the results after. All right, and it's the same thing with America. America pride itself in its cities and whatnot, so forth. Hey, places like Vegas, the city of lights. You understand? And New York, the city that never sleeps. Alright? And California and all these things, and all the skyscraper throughout Chicago and other states and whatnot, so forth. The mega structures and what have you, so forth. This is what it is. But it's going to be what? It's going to be a wilderness after the Lord is done with it, by the way of Russia, China, North Korea, and whatnot, so forth, along with the chariots. Along with the chariots coming to finish off the devastation, to ensure that Babylon, the destruction of Babylon in its entirety is fulfilled according to Scripture. Alright, so it says, verse 4, the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run, which is what? The ICBMs. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of the mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Alright? There is those missiles coming out of the silos and what have you, so forth. Before their faces the people shall be much pained. Yeah? All faces shall gather blackness. Yeah, they're gonna be scared shitless, as they say, Alright? When those alerts go off and those air raid sirens start to go off, alright? Those warnings start to go off for people to seek shelter. Because why? ICBMs has been launched from enemy nations and is about to make landfall on your respective state. Yeah? Whether it be California, whether it be Minnesota, whether it be Texas, New York, North, South Carolina, Virginia, Yeah, Miami, Florida, Orlando, yeah, Orlando, yeah, Seattle, Washington, D.C., Connecticut, Arkansas, Oklahoma, yeah, all 50 states, all 50 states. Here's what it is. They're all gonna be scared shitless. Alright? Because there's not one state that is going to be spared any destruction. Not one state. Not one state is going to, yeah? Is going to be spared. North Dakota, South Dakota, Utah. All these states is going to be destroyed. Memphis, Mississippi, Tennessee. Yeah. They shall run like mighty men. They shall what? They shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall what? They shall march everyone on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Yeah? They're going to go out of earth. They're going to come out of their silos and reach their peak, which they're supposed to reach out of earth atmosphere. Alright? And go through their different stages and re-enter into earth atmosphere. And they all going to go to its intended target. Alright? None is going to swerve, of course. None is going to miss their target. Alright? No missile defense system is going to be able to intercept. Because what the Lord is going to do is actually swarm America with missiles. Swarm them. That it will literally override their missile defense system. Swarm them in great numbers. Alright? The scripture talk about 200 million horses, like horsemen, which is actually talking about the missiles, the warheads, actually the warheads, along with the chariot fire. Along with the chariot fire. Alright? That is going to ensure the destruction of Babylon the Great. It says, neither shall one trust one another. They ain't gonna clatter into one another. Yeah? They shall walk everyone in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. No interception is going to be able to stop these warheads. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows. Alright, like a thief. That is the missiles actually coming back into earth atmosphere. No satellites and all these things out there is going to be able to take down these warheads. The earth shall quake before them. The heaven shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Yeah. Yeah. Nuclear fallout. Nuclear fallout. Alright? Nuclear fallout. This is what it is. This is what it is. This is what is coming to America. As the scripture say, when you go to the scripture that's come to my head here, which is 2nd Esdras 11:37. I don't want to go to 37, I will believe. Yeah, 2nd Esdras 11:37 is a point that I want to reach at. Yeah. And I beheld, and lo, as it were a roaring lion chased out of the wood, That roaring lion is Yahushai. And I saw that he sent out a man's voice unto the eagle. That eagle is speaking about is Esau Edom. Alright? It's Esau Edom. And said, Hear thou, and I will talk with thee, and the higher shall say unto thee, Art not thou it that remainest of the four beasts? Yeah, of the four beasts. Alright? Because they are the remainder of the four beasts. Both pursuant to the statue of Daniel, and also pursuant to basically the statue of Daniel, all right, which goes into Rome, all right, and the Roman Empire coming back into power via the Renaissance. They are the remainder of the four beasts, these Edomites. Alright? Here's what it is. Whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times may come through them. Alright? The end of their times is going to come through their own selves. By the way of what? By the way of their blessing. Their destructive force of their blessing that they have gotten, which is the sword. Alright? And by the sword shalt thou live. And they have made the greatest ultimate weapon, the ultimate weapon that is actually going to bring their destruction. Again, Isaiah 54 and verse 16. Alright? Their own times is going to come through them. And you're seeing it. Alright? When you read Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah 51 and what have you so forth, who you feel it's speaking of? It ain't speaking about ancient Babylon. It is actually speaking about Babylon the Great, America, Mystery Babylon the Great, which is America. And the same way how they had brought utter destruction onto Hiroshima and Nagasaki by the way of the atomic bomb, is the same way their destruction is going to come upon them in all 50 states, along with the Vatican, along with London, the city of London, all right, by the way of the Russians, who are Edomites also. You understand? So they are going to bring forth their own destruction. The scripture speaks of, I will go straight to the point exact, which is Ezekiel 38, and I think it's verse 10. Alright? Ezekiel 38 and 10, thus saith the Lord, it shall also come to what? It shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind. This is Ezekiel 38 is actually going into Gog and Magog and Persia and what have you so forth. Alright, but Gog and Magog is who? The Russians. Alright, it is speaking of the Russians. So the Lord is actually gathering up the Russians along with the Iranians and whatnot, and the Russians being at the forefront, being that guard, alright, and being that point man, alright, to lead within the destruction of America. And don't forget her allies, alright, her nuclear allies, which is France and Great Britain. They're also going to join in to bring that destruction upon America. Alright? So as it says, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, power, it shall come to pass that at the same time shall things come to thy mind, and thou shalt what? Thou shalt think an evil thought. What is that evil thought? What is that evil thought? Let's go right back again to the Isaiah. The Isaiah chapter 13. Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 18. Isaiah 13 and 18, their bow shall what? shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity. Yeah, that evil thought is going to come into their mind, and they're going to have no judgment, pity. Yeah? On the fruit of the womb, their eyes shall not spare children, man. They're going to destroy everything in sight. Yeah? And it's all the working of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Yeah? All the working of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Revelation 16. Revelation 16 and 19. Revelation 16 and 19. Let me see, is this one? Yes. And I will end that off with this, Revelation 16 and 19, where it reads, and the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nation fell, and great Babylon came in remembrance, came in remembrance before Yahweh. To what, Lord? To give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. Yeah? And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found, and there fell upon men a great hail, which is that what? Which is those ICBM, alright, those warheads, out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent, and men blasphemed Yahweh because of the plague and of the hail, for the plague thereof was exceeding great. Yeah? So they could boast themselves on their great achievement pursuing to the destruction of America, of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Alright? But hey, it's going to recompense upon their own head. Yeah? Is going to be recompense upon their own heads. There's what it is. Your brother Kahan from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp here in Trinidad. Hope you all are edified through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Alright? So Kal Halayam La Alahayanawa Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Bahasham Rakaha Kodash Barakata Yahweh Barakata Yahushai. Barakata Yahweh Barakata Yahushai. Barakata Yahweh Barakata Yahushai. Double honors unto the apostles, the bishops, the elders, a great millstone that rule well. Shalom, salutation unto the brothers who preach and teach the truth throughout the 4 corners of the earth, risking their lives and the freedom to do so now more than ever. Shalom unto the speckled bird Israelites, along with the very few but faithful Akwat. We say Shalom. Wa Abad Babal unto Esau Edom and America Babylon the Great.